here's a new twist on one. So we have Eric asking, making a sporran match the animal or animals from the area of Scotland your clan comes from. Is that too much, or is that something that isn't necessarily
It's a
thought
neat
of?
idea.
Yeah, it's a neat idea. It's not done.
I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, most sporrans in Scotland are made of seal, and frankly, most of it's actually imported from Canada.
Wouldn't you say most of them are bovine anymore? But
Not in Scotland.
really?
No,
They
'cause
still...
if you figure, how many people own sporrans
Okay.
and have owned them, in Scotland there was a period of about 5 years ish in, let's say, I'm going to guess, educated guess, but let's say 2011 to 16 or 12 to 17, somewhere in there,
Okay.
where bovine became illegal. But then
Wait, what? You mean seal became illegal?
there you go, seal
Okay.
became illegal. Basically, the EU banned sealskin, and then the Inuit Indians in Canada were kind of up in arms, saying, "This is literally our livelihood. We have nothing else. You're killing us." So they lobbied to allow it to go back into usage over in the EU, and Scotland and the UK, still being in the EU, were subject to that. So then when it was allowed back in, they were allowed to start making sporrans from seal again. However, each seal pelt, each animal actually had a serial number. So you can, and that has to be either on the sporran or some kind of documentation where you can actually trace the sporran back to the original animal and to where it was harvested from. So that way it's not poachers and that kind of stuff. And they're doing it legitimately.
I'd still like to see the numbers. I feel like there's probably a lot of cowhide sporrans out there. I wouldn't
Worldwide,
think a sporran-
yes.
Okay.
In Scotland, no, because sealskin is shiny. It's very, very hard wearing.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Bovine is great, but the biggest problem with bovine is you don't get a lot of gray cows. You either have black or white or black-white or speckled. So it's not as attractive a pelt.
But you're talking about modern dress sporrans. For the balance of history, sporrans have been leather.
Okay. Well, he's saying fur. That's why I was saying specifically I was going after fur.
So here's getting back to your original question, because we do care. I don't know how much variance there is in the wildlife from different regions in Scotland. So I'd be curious to know what pelt you're considering using, because red deer is pretty much common. Boar,
heel and coo.
Yeah, heel and coo. They're all over that whole country. I don't know if maybe there's certain pockets where one is more prominent than another. But I think it's a cool idea. I think it's I'd be curious to know what pelt you're considering, because it's more often that people want to go for something that has nothing to do with Scotland. They want to do something exotic like zebra or tiger pelt or something that's really funky.
Talk about illegal.
Or you have that's why they use the carpets.
Yeah.
But and then you have what's her name who does the roadkill sporrans? I can never remember her name, but there's an artisan,
Kate McPherson,
who does artisanal sporrans using things like pelts of animals that were killed by vehicles, or pheasant.
So she's the one that does the feathered ones.
Yeah, and they're gorgeous.
Not practical, but gorgeous.
Yeah, they are, and those are native animals to Scotland, but they're still kind of fun because they're exotic, and they're works of art because they're exotic. So the idea of doing something that is a pelt from your home country, that's a pretty cool idea. I don't think there's really a precedent for it other than historical necessity.
I would touch on this.
Yeah.
Since you went on to the feather thing and talking about the red stag and things like that, it also depends on the pelt. Red stag is very, very thick and it's difficult to sew through. Heel and coo, it has a more wiry hair and it's easier to sew through. Seal is very easy to sew through. Mm-hmm. So the actual functionality or functional process of making a sporran could be impeded, or the outcome could be not as good with certain furs versus other furs. Bovine's easy, and real fur that isn't super bushy is easier than ones that are like just snowballs on your crotch.
But you could do a decorative. You could do a decorative piece on the front of the functional sporran, perhaps. So you,
Yes,
you
but
like
even
glue it
sewing,
there, too.
but even sewing through it. Well, it also depends on how you sew the gusset. If you sew the gusset in plain black leather, it's a little bit easier,
Yeah.
but you're still sewing through like a good chunk. So you have to like shave it down, and then you have to be careful that the shaved down section isn't on the facing of the sporran. So there's logistical things to consider when doing it as well.
I think it's a neat idea, though.
I don't disagree. I think it's a neat idea.
That's
You
got me
just have
thinking
to be
about other
careful
things to
about
do,
it.
like if you got like some granite from a mountain that your clan castle was on, and you get somebody to turn
My
it.
sporran's made of granite.
No, the bells for the tassels.
There's actually a
Make
guy that
polished,
makes
polished granite.
There's
you
a
know?
guy that makes granite cantles.
That's awesome.
Must be freaking heavy
Yeah, but it's
and
super
brittle.
Cool. Yeah, but it's a dress warrant. I don't know.
It looks neat.
It's worth a try.
The ones that I've
I think
seen
it all
look
sounds
neat,
cool.
but it's very there's something.
Mhm.
It's either going to be too brittle or too heavy or both.
Okay.
I would be nervous, and they're not cheap because he's hand tooling granite.
Right.
Right. Or whatever it is, soapstone or something. But I can't imagine wearing it and being concerned about dropping it and having it crack and then done.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
If you have to ask, it's too much.